It is a nomination both Wisconsin senators are backing. Today, former Wisconsin Congressman Sean Duffy answered questions at his confirmation hearing to become the transportation secretary.
Our State Capitol Bureau Chief Vanessa Kelson has more on the bipartisan support Duffy is receiving.
Sean Duffy, the former congressman for Wisconsin's 7th District and former Fox Business host, is nominated to lead the country's Department of Transportation, which oversees the nation's planes, trains, and overall transit.
As a father of 9 kids, I think about transportation quite a bit, and about transportation safety a lot.
Duffy receiving bipartisan support from both of Wisconsin's senators at Wednesday's hearing.
Sean will be a strong and dedicated leader of the Department of Transportation.
I believe he will help deliver for Wisconsin families, businesses, and workers.
Duffy says safety is his #1 priority.
Whether driving, flying, or traveling by train, no federal agency impacts Americans' daily lives and loved ones more than the Department of Transportation.
He committed to improving confidence in Boeing and aviation, as well as improving infrastructure nationwide.
If confirmed, we will craft clear regulations which balance safety, innovation, and cutting-edge technology.
After the hearing, Senator Baldwin tells us she expects this confirmation to go through.
I think that this will be a nomination that gets bipartisan support.
Next, the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation will hold a vote on Duffy's nomination. If the committee approves as expected, the full U.S. Senate will vote. And if Duffy receives that majority, he'll become the next Secretary of Transportation. In Madison, Vanessa Kelson.
Now, Marco Rubio was one of a half-dozen Trump nominees appearing at hearings today alone. The full Senate will need to vote on 22 cabinet picks. Votes could begin as soon as next week, but the process has taken more than a month for some nominees in previous administrations.